I'm Mike Henriksen. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Jonathan LeBlanc from x.commerce.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing at OSCON?
Sure thing. I'm Jonathan LeBlanc. I'm a developer evangelist with x.commerce. Really, from a booth perspective, we're showcasing a lot about what x.commerce is as a developer network presence for eBay. From a personal level, we have a number of speakers here presenting on everything from mobile Android security to x.commerce as a product. Myself, I'm talking about with one of my co-speakers, a product that's built on top of Node, one of the new innovative programs that's out of eBay technology. So it's all about querying APIs and doing massive data mashups in the most performant way possible. So we're going to be talking about that one on Friday.
Okay. So in the report that we wrote at O'Reilly with Tim O'Reilly, the small business economic impact of open source and small business, we saw a lot of small businesses with PayPal and Magento. And Magento specifically, PayPal was more in the survey. People replied that they were using PayPal. It didn't show up in the bottom line.
Right.
So it's one of those hidden economies that it's hard to track. Do you know when people are using open source products with PayPal?
Oh, definitely. So when we have a lot of analytics systems that are coming through PayPal and tracking what people are doing, not so much what they're doing, but they're purchasing, what they're using. So we get analytics reports on SDKs and things like that. But we're heavily involved in the open source community as well as a startup community on integrating PayPal products. And most of the small businesses that I end up working with, the best part is that PayPal integrates with everything. It's a monetization, right? Yeah. At some points, you have a small business and you want to grow it to a point where you're in the black, where you're actually making money, and that's one of the things that PayPal's a really good integration for. You really just have either a simple integration or something that's a little bit more complex, where if you might want to integrate payments, and it grows with you since it's a global platform.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to.
No, of course.
Do you have any sort of like top of the head numbers, percentage-wise, people that probably use open source versus people who aren't using your APIs?
So people that use open source technologies? Yeah. So I don't have any specific numbers for you. So anything that's PayPal driven, all I can do is tell you based on my own experience. And I'm heavily involved in the open source community from an identity standpoint, from an auth standpoint. So what I see is a lot of developers are building on an open source stack, primarily because it's a good starting point for everyone. The community is so rich. It's vetted code. Now I see a lot of people who are implementing their own solutions. And the problem is you have your own internal developer stack, which isn't vetted by an entire community. That's what I love so much about the open source community, is that you have these vibrant groups of people who are just passionate about the industry that they're talking about, and that shows in the code. It's all vetted, it's secured, and most of the time when there's a security hole, it's the same group that created it that finds it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So where do you see PayPal, Magento, eBay, all the payment systems going in the future, and especially in the future with open source?
Well, what we're definitely seeing, Magento itself is an open source platform. We have a lot of open source technologies like identity platforms through PayPal Access. So we're definitely following in the same footsteps of open source. But we're also seeing heavy trends moving towards more web standards like HTML5, more mobile devices. So we're right on board with that. We understand what our developers need and our developers are looking for, and that's where we're diverting our products. Where we're focusing a lot of our attention is on what developers' needs are.
Excellent. Well, we hope to see you at OSCON 2013.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks. And you guys, by the way, have an event. What's your event called?
You mean the Innovate from last year?
Yeah.
So we had the Imagine conference, the Magento Imagine conference earlier this year in Vegas. We won't have Innovate for this year, but take a look for Magento Imagine for next year.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.